All right, y'all, we're coming back to you with exclusive flash video due to the events from yesterday. Thanks for joining us. If you've been living under a rock, someone tried to kill former President Trump. So let's tell everyone what we know.
Yeah, so the latest news that we have is the FBI has confirmed and identified the shooter from yesterday's event. The shooter is identified as Thomas Matthew Crooks. He's a 20-year-old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, and they did find an AR-15 rifle on scene with the suspect.
So, I guess the question is, Christian, like how is it possible? I've seen a lot of like government conspiracy movies and stuff. How is it possible that a 20-year-old with an AR was able to get on top of a building with a direct shot at the president?
Yeah, that's the magic question. So if you look at the aerial footage of where the shooter was and where President Trump was, I mean, he had a direct line of shot from a rooftop. Any presidential rally, any event like that, Secret Service should have had better security. I mean, that makes zero sense that anyone would have a direct line of sight at a former president and potential, someone running for president. Like, that is unheard of.
So, there's a lot of people in Secret Service. He's got homies that are in, like, six guys that are in his corner that are probably, that literally would take a bullet for him. But not everyone, per se, would have that same association with him that were there. And how many Secret Service members do you think were present at the event?
Hundreds
Right.
hundreds of Secret Service agents, and then local law enforcement, other three-letter agencies. I mean, there was a lot of law enforcement presence there. Like you said, though, the way that Secret Service works, I don't think people quite understand how it's built. So the president has his own detail, right? And his detail, those are the ones that travel with him. They travel with him to all of his events. They're the ones that are there with him day in and day out. Everyone else that's not on the presidential detail, they all have different jobs and responsibilities within the Secret Service. They wouldn't have, a direct relationship with the president like his detail. And when I say his detail, I'm talking about the ones that are literally surrounding him once he gets shot.
Would it be fair to say that most of the other Secret Service probably aren't in the line of duty? Not, I shouldn't say it, but there's not a risk that they could get shot at an event like that. Is that even fair to say?
There's not a risk?
Like, is everyone in the Secret Service, are they like ready to go to war? Like some people there, just doing surveillance maybe from remote locations or whatever. Like how does it work?
Yeah, I think everyone, obviously there's a risk in law enforcement regardless.
Okay.
Everyone has a different job and responsibility. So there's some people that are put on perimeter watch. Their whole job is the perimeter. Some people are on crowd watch. There's some people that are literally supposed to be assigned to just watch people in the crowd and look for any potential threats, anything that could happen. So everyone has their own little job and responsibility. The only ones that are like ready to jump in front of a bullet for the president himself would be his detail.
Okay. But it wouldn't be necessarily those six people, their responsibility to cover to have previously looked at the perimeter and gotten all clear. Like there's too many opportunities that six people wouldn't be able to cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Nor would they be able to see have a vantage point to even identify that kind of threat.
Right.
That would be rely on whoever was in charge of the planning and security of the event, as well as those that, I mean, there's rooftop snipers like the one that took out the shooter, that their whole responsibility is to find. And what's interesting to me, Eric, is that one of the number one threats in any kind of event like that is rooftop, because of the fact that they could potentially have a line of fire.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, so
right.
So we all understand that is the most obvious threat, is the highest vantage point possible.
Right.
So, what I find wild, and obviously it's not like major news outlets, but alleged news outlets that are purporting that this wasn't Trump getting shot by a bullet, but that it was glass shards from a teleprompter getting struck, and somehow that making it better than if he were hit by a bullet, as if a bullet breaking a teleprompter wasn't an assassination attempt.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think it matters regardless of what exactly hit President Trump's ear. I mean, I personally believe that it wasn't glass just based on the videos and pictures I've seen. The teleprompters that I have seen multiple angles, people that have took their own phone videos. from the crowd, and every prompter that I see is fully intact.
Well, not only that, that I understand that bullet would be very tough to capture on a 30 frames per second camera, but a glass shard ricocheting off after being shot. First of all, you don't hear any glass breaking, but that would be slow enough of a projectile that it probably would have been caught on camera. No,
I would think so. I mean,
No.
it's not moving at the feet per second that a
Yeah.
bullet would be.
I don't think that's even the conspiracy. I think what I've seen is that people suggesting that it wasn't a gunshot wound and that he faked it with a fake blood pill.
So dumb. Let's think. Okay, let's play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Let's say that it was fake and that Trump was behind it and it was all a ploy. It makes no sense, Eric. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like he's losing.
He's up like 6 points in the polls, winning every swing state except Michigan, I think, at this point in
Yeah.
the polls. So it's like he's on pace. If the election had happened yesterday before the shooting, he's on pace for probably a landslide victory, at least the way the Electoral College works, right? Like winning by 3% doesn't sound like a landslide, but numbers wise, it's over.
Exactly. And then you would have to say that would mean that former President Trump was willing to allow innocent people to physically die.
Be shot at, even if that wasn't the intention, is that anyone get killed. He was willing to let somebody, be in the line of fire.
I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that. Like, there's no way.
So,
There's no way.
and there are 2 people confirmed dead. So it's not like, even if there were fake blood, like,
Yeah,
like,
there's
people died. Like,
people died and
so-
one seriously injured that we don't know a status on. Like, there's multiple people that have been injured or killed in this event. Like, there's just no way. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't think the natural human reaction from what I saw out of Trump suggests that it was a ruse or like something that had been acted out. Like, all right, here's what we're gonna. That it just doesn't. It doesn't even sound. That didn't even sound like it makes sense. You sound foolish saying something like that.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
anyways, y'all, a 20-year-old lone gunman, as it always is, right? Like, it's always a lone gunman that, just some crazy that's able to get past all the security detail into the best vantage point with a clean shot at a...
The only vantage point, the only
Yeah.
real good vantage point, which you can't tell me that one building wasn't secured. Like,
Yeah.
and let's talk about the eyewitnesses who literally said they reported this to Secret Service. There was a man on a roof with a gun minutes before the president was shot. Why was the president not off the stage at that point?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
why? Like, they should have him off immediately.
if anything, it smells more like a setup to whack Trump.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's I mean, I don't know, and it's tough to say that because like an AR-15 from that distance, like is that even realistic that that's how, if you were going to turn a blind eye, like, you probably make sure you got the job done, right? Like maybe it's nothing more than just like sheer negligence on the half of the Secret Service.
yeah, and that's what I think. I think that literally this is a moment where Secret Service didn't do their job correctly. It's just that simple. Like,
And there's no big story. It's
yeah,
like
it's
just
been
that.
confirmed that Trump's been asking for
Bolstered, yeah.
souped up Secret Service
Yeah.
detail for months, and the Biden administration has refused. I mean, look at RFK Jr.
Yeah, RFK's made formal requests 6 times, polling in double digits, and has been denied 6 times. We're now inside of 120 days where every presidential candidate receives it if they request it. That would mean even Jill Stein at 1% could get Secret Service protection
and should have Secret
and
Service.
should have Secret Service protection, and no one's receiving it except for Trump and Biden. Trump just gets it by default because he was the former president.
Yeah, and obviously minimal security,
Yeah.
which is so wild to me. Like, RFK needs a security detail. Like, it's that simple. And if this doesn't prove it, like, if he doesn't
He's
have,
already had his home broken into multiple times. He's had shooters show up at his rallies.
that's unacceptable.
What?
That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's so wrong. Like, we have to be better. We have to do better.
Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments. Obviously, like, we have a pretty clear stance that it was nothing more than negligence by the Secret Service, and there's not some crazy wild story behind it. It's really unfortunate for the life of that rally attendee that was collateral damage of a failed attempt to kill our president, our former president. But let us know what you think. If you've heard anything or you've seen video of anything that alludes to a greater story here. But with that, y'all, we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.